I slammed the door on my beat-up Prius that afternoon. The kind of door slam that echoes down the cul-de-sac like a gunshot in suburbia, and marched straight to the mailboxes with a crowbar I'd borrowed from my garage. Because if Karen thought she could lock me out of my own damn mail, I'd pry it open right there in front of God and the entire HOA board. She'd left that passive-aggressive pink post-it on my box that morning. Unauthorized packages detected. Access restricted per community guidelines. K.W. As if her CEO ego gave her the right to play postal warden. But the real shocker? When the sirens wailed 5 minutes later, and the feds hauled her out in cuffs, screaming about lawsuits, I realized her little power trip had just torpedoed her entire life. And hell, it felt like sweet, cold revenge for every neighbor she'd steamrolled. You have to understand, this wasn't some random beef. Karen Whitaker, KW, on all her tyrannical memos, was the undisputed queen of Willow Creek Estates, our cookie-cutter slice of American dream in suburban Phoenix, Arizona. At 52, she was the type of woman who'd risen to VP of operations at a Fortune 500 logistics firm by morning, then terrorized us plebeians by evening as HOA president. Blonde bob, perpetual scowl, and a handbag collection that screamed, "I make more in bonuses than you do in a year." She'd moved in 5 years ago from some gated enclave up north, bought the biggest McMansion on the block, and immediately declared war on anything that didn't fit her vision of upscale living. Tall weeds? $500 fine. Kids' bikes on the driveway? Tow truck at dawn. And don't get me started on the holiday lights. Hers were tasteful icicles. Ours were tacky fire hazards. Me? I am Dax Rivera, 38, a freelance graphic designer, scraping by on gigs for local startups while raising my 10-year-old daughter. Mia, alone since her mom bailed for a yoga retreat in Bali that never ended. We rented a modest 3-bedroom at the end of the loop, nothing fancy. But it was ours, paid for with late-night Adobe sessions and Mia's school fundraisers. I kept my head down for years, nodding along to Karen's newsletters about preserving property values, even when she cited me for painting our front door too vibrant a teal. But everything changed last summer, when Mia's science fair project, a solar-powered bird feeder, earned her a spot in the regional finals. Proud dad moment, right? Wrong. Karen spotted it on our porch and flipped. Unsanctioned structures violate Section 4.2. She emailed the whole board, CCing the city. Next thing I know, I'm out $200 in removal fees, and Mia's crying because her trophy got accidentally misplaced during the cleanup. That was the betrayal that lit the fuse. Not just the money or the tears, it was the way Karen weaponized the system, turning our neighborhood into her personal fiefdom. I'd tried the diplomatic route, attending meetings, suggesting compromises like a community garden for aesthetic enhancement. She shot it down with a smirk, whispering to the board that some residents lack the vision for true excellence. Subtext? Immigrants like me, my folks fled El Salvador in the 80s, didn't belong in her lily-white utopia. Whispers turned to outright sabotage, delayed trash pickups when I hosted block parties, anonymous complaints to child services about Mia's unsupervised playtime. She was literally in our yard. By fall, half the street was whispering about selling out, tired of her reign. But I wasn't running. No, I started digging quietly, methodically, because if Karen wanted to play dirty, I'd find a chink in her armor. It began with the mailboxes. Willow Creek's cluster was vintage 90s. Those big blue behemoths plunked at the entrance like sentinels. Harmless, right? Wrong again. Turns out, in a post, 9/11 World, USPS mailboxes are federal property. Tamper with them, and you're not just breaking HOA bylaws. You're inviting Uncle Sam to the party. I'd stumbled on it during a late-night Reddit rabbit hole, venting in our /HOA hell about Karen's latest edict, mandatory mailbox audits for security. She was convinced packages from Amazon were lowering curb appeal and proposed fees for oversized deliveries. Classic Karen. Control the chaos. Even if it meant policing our Victoria's Secret halls. I didn't tell a soul at first. Just watched her escalate. By Thanksgiving, she'd installed those infernal cameras, tiny black eyes winking from the lampposts, feeding straight to her Ring app. For the safety of our investments, she'd cooed at the December meeting, her diamond studs catching the fluorescent glow. I raised my hand, voice steady. Karen, those feed federal mail routes. Isn't that a privacy violation? She laughed, a sharp, tinkling sound like breaking glass, and waved me off. Jax, darling, if you're not hiding contraband, what do you have to fear? The room tittered, old mister. Hargrove from accounting nodded along. Betrayal number 2, our so-called neighbors. Too spineless to back me up. Winter hit like a hangover. Dry winds rattling the saguaros and turning every grievance into a grudge. Mia came home from school with a bruised knee from dodgeball. Nothing major, but Karen, spotting the limp from her balcony, called it in as potential neglect. CPS showed up the next day. 2 caseworkers combing our fridge while I explained overtime deadlines. They left apologetic, but the damage was done. Mia stopped inviting friends over, and I started sleeping with a baseball bat by the bed. That's when the revenge plotting kicked into gear. Not violent. I'm no thug, but calculated. The kind of slow-burn justice that eats at you from the inside. I joined the board that January, campaigning on transparency and tolerance. Won by a landslide after Karen's overreach alienated the renters, folks like the Patel family next door, who'd been fined for Diwali lanterns. She seethed, cornering me post-election. You'll regret this. Jax, Willow Creek isn't ready for changes. Her eyes flicked to my faded Salvadoran flag pin. Controversy brewed immediately. At the first meeting, I proposed scrapping her beautification fund, a slush pot for her pet projects, and redirecting to pothole repairs. She exploded. This is why we can't have nice things. Undermining standards for cheap votes. The board split. Emails flew like confetti. She retaliated by accidentally forwarding my design portfolio to clients with snide notes about unprofessional aesthetics. Gigs dried up overnight. Outrage simmered. Neighbors started venting in group chats, off the record. Of course. The Garcias lost their grill to a fire code violation. The Lee's wind chimes were deemed nuisance noise. Karen's defenses? Gaslighting gold. If you followed rules. This wouldn't happen. But I had her number now. Late nights, I'd pore over HOA docs, cross-referencing with federal regs. Bingo, her mailbox upgrades, those fancy keyed locks she'd been installing piecemeal, were straight-up vandalism. U.S. Code Title 18, Section 1705, obstructing mail delivery. Felony territory, and she'd been emailing about it openly, boasting to the board about securing our assets. The hook was set. I didn't tip my hand. Instead, I played along, even volunteering to help with the audit. That's how I got the proof. Screenshots of her invoices for the locksmith. Minutes from closed sessions where she greenlit the locks. Armed with that, I reached out anonymously to the postal inspector's office. Fed tip line. Untraceable. Concerned resident reporting tampering on federal property. Evidence attached. They moved fast. A plainclothes agent cruised by that week, nodding at our cluster like it was just another Tuesday. Spring bloomed with false hope. Karen doubled down, hosting a neighborhood mixer at her place, catered charcuterie, wine that cost more than my rent. I showed with Mia, playing nice, but her eyes narrowed when I complimented the locks. Efficient, aren't they? Real peace of mind. She preened. Finally, someone gets it. Little did she know, the inspectors had scheduled a routine check for the next day. Mia and I bailed early, citing homework, back home. I cracked a beer and waited. It went down at 2 p.m. Sharp. I was working from the porch, laptop open, but really live streaming to the block chat when a USPS van pulled up, followed by two unmarked sedans. Karen strutted out in yoga pants and a Lululemon top, fresh from Pilates, keys jingling like victory bells. Officers? Everything's under control here. The lead inspector, a no-nonsense Latina in her 40s named Agent Ruiz, held up her badge. Ma'am, these are federal mailboxes. Removing or altering them without authorization is a crime. Karen blinked, then laughed. That same brutal cackle. Federal? This is private property. HOA jurisdiction. The argument escalated like a bad reality show. She whipped out her phone, dialing her lawyer mid-sentence. You'll see. I'll have her badges. Neighbors trickled out, the Patels with popcorn. Mr. Hargrove, feigning shock. Ruiz didn't flinch. Section 1705. Up to 5 years. Ma'am. Step aside. Karen lunged for the locks, trying to fiddle them open. I guess to prove innocence, but that's when they cuffed her. This is assault. I'll sue, she shrieked. Mascara running in black rivers. Mia peeked from the window, whispering, Dad, if she go to jail, I hugged her close. Only if she deserves it. Mija. Word spread like wildfire. By evening, local news vans clogged the street. AZ Channel 5, with that perky anchor grilling the agent on HOA overreach. Karen's arrest made headlines. CEO busted for mailbox meddling. Federal fumble in Phoenix suburb. Her company? They suspended her pending investigation. Per the ethics clause, the board dissolved her presidency on the spot. Emergency vote. Unanimous. But the real kicker? Her husband, divorce papers served at the precinct, citing irreconcilable humiliation. Turns out, he'd been the quiet enabler. But even he had limits. As the dust settled, Willow Creek exhaled. We scrapped the cameras, planted that community garden, let the kids' chalk art stay on driveways. Mia's bird feeder went up, solar panels gleaming. Me? Gigs trickled back, irony of it, designing anti-HOA graphics for startup. But revenge isn't clean. Watching Karen's McMansion go up for sale. For sale, sign crooked in the yard. I felt the bitter twist. She'd built her empire on control, and one lock too many crumbled it. Yet in quiet moments, I catch myself wondering, was I any better tipping the scales? Nah. Justice isn't sweet. It's just necessary. And in America, where the little guy's supposed to win, sometimes he does, even if it's messy as hell. That night, after the cruisers peeled out with Karen in the back, still yammering about her rights like a malfunctioning Roomba, I poured a second beer and scrolled the feeds. Twitter was ablaze. Mailbox Karen trending nationwide. Memes of her mugshot. They released it quick, public figure and all, photoshopped onto everything from the Monopoly go-to-jail card to a padlock-wielding Lex Luthor. CEO thinks she's above the law. Spoiler, she's not. One viral tweet read. With 50K likes. Replies poured in. Stories from ex-neighbors in her old zip code. Tales of fine bird baths and banned BBQs. Even the Patels chimed in anonymously. Finally free from the witch hunt. Sleep didn't come easy. Mia crashed early, exhausted from the drama. But I paced the kitchen, replaying the takedown. Agent Ruiz had been thorough, confiscating her phone, the locksmith receipts, even that damn ring footage as evidence. Obstruction of justice on top, she'd muttered to her partner, loud enough for the mics to catch. Karen's outrage had been operatic, veins bulging, voice cracking into sobs when they read her Miranda rights. Do you know who I am? VP Whitaker. This is a mistake. Ruiz. The Mail doesn't care about your title. The crowd, us, had clapped. A spontaneous roar that turned the arrest into spectacle. Bitter? Yeah. Watching her world implode felt like exhaling after holding your breath for months. But controversy lingered. Was I the snitch? Whispers started at dawn. Mr. Hargrove side-eyeing me over coffee. Heard you had a hand in this. Jax. I shrugged, just doing my civic duty. The fallout hit warp speed. By Monday, Karen's firm, Logie Corp., those warehouse giants with the drone delivery hype, issued a statement. We are aware of the allegations and have placed MS. Whitaker on administrative leave. Integrity is our core value. Translation: she's radioactive. Her LinkedIn? Frozen in time. Endorsements from boardroom buddies evaporating like morning dew. I imagine her in that sterile HR office, defending her proactive measures while Suits nodded sympathetically, already plotting her exit package. Revenge's first wave, professional evisceration. She'd clawed her way up from admin assistant to C-suite by outmaneuvering rivals, backstabbing memos, anonymous feedback forms. Now, the blade turned. Neighborhood dynamics shifted overnight. The group chat exploded, not with complaints, but celebrations. Virtual toast, beer emojis, and gifs of locks snapping open. The Garcias fired up the grill. No fines this time. Flames licking burgers under the stars. To Jax, the quiet avenger. Mrs. Garcia texted. Hearts aplenty. But not everyone's cup was full. Old guard loyalists, like Hargrove, retired and bitter about his shrinking nest egg, muttered about federal overkill. At the impromptu block party that Friday, he cornered me by the cooler. You stirred the pot. So, what if they come for our gates next? I bit back. Better than her coming for our lives. He grumbled off. But the seed of division was planted. Controversy, hero or homewrecker, in HOA land. Justice always comes with side eyes. Karen's retaliation? Swift, if sloppy. From a clink, holding cell pending arraignment, she lawyered up with some high-roller firm, the kind that bills by the yacht. Subpoenas flew to the board. The Patels, even Mia's school for character witnesses. Her angle, entrapment, claiming I'd baited her with false compliance. Bull. But it dragged us into depositions, me in a stuffy conference room downtown, recounting every slight under oath. MS. Whitaker fined your daughter's project. How did that make you feel? The prosecutor asked. All empathy. Betrayed, I said flat. Like she saw us as targets. Not neighbors. The DA nodded, jotting notes across the table. Karen Shark and Armani sneered. Outrage bubbled. How dare she drag Mia into this? But I held steady, voice even, because crumbling would have handed her the win. Meanwhile, the feds built their case like a Lego fortress. Turns out, her locks weren't isolated. She'd hit 3 other clusters in nearby hoods. Consulting as HOA expert. A pattern, complaints to postal services masked as concerns, then sneaky installs under cover of night. Agent Ruiz called me in for sidebar. Your tip was gold. Mr. Rivera. Saved us months. Off record. She shared the irony. Karen's company partnered with USPS for logistics. She'd signed NDAs swearing off federal interference. Hipocrite vingo Ruiz Chaquez. I laughed too, but it hollowed quick. Bitter in brewing. Not just arrest, but exposure. Leaks hit the press, her emails, redacted but damning. These residents don't deserve access if they can't respect standards. Viral again. Karen's KK clan emails? Clickbait gold. With race bait undertones, she couldn't spin. Summer scorched in. 110 degrees, turning asphalt to tar. Willow Creek wilted without her iron grip, overgrown medians. Faded stripes on the roads. We voted in Lena Patel as interim prez. First order, dissolve the beautification slush. Funds went to a pool resurfacing. Kids splashing by July 4th. Mia thrived, new friends. Bird feeder buzzing with finches. But shadows crept. Karen's arraignment was a circus, courthouse steps mobbed. Her in ill-fitting county orange peeking through bars. flanked by handlers. Plea? Not guilty. Of course. Bail set at $50K. Hubby posted it. Then ghosted his golf buddy's condo. Divorce filings hit public record. Emotional cruelty exacerbated by public scandal. Oof. She'd retaliate in court. Dragging his affairs into the open. Text from 2018. Boardroom flirtations. Messy. Mutuelle destruction. I testified that August. Humidity sticking my shirt to my back. Courtroom AC hummed like Judgment Day. Karen stared daggers from the defense table. Unmade-up face gaunt. Bob Askew. Objection. Bad faith witness. Her lawyer barked as I detailed the post-it. The crowbar moment. Self-defense. Judge ruled. Sustained. But damage done. Jury. Diverse Phoenix Meeks. Teachers and techies leaned forward. Notebooks scribbling. Controversy peaked. Sidebar debates on HOA rights versus federal authority. Pundits on Fox and MSNBC duking it out. Overzealous Karens. Symptom of suburban entitlement. One op-ed blared. Her side? Deep state overreach in everyday America. But evidence mounted. Locksmith logs. Video of her installing the first lock. Crowing to a board crony. By fall. Plea deal whispers circulated. Reduced charge. Misdemeanor tampering. Probation. Community service. Irony of ironies. Sorting mail at the local station. But the real gut punch? Logicorpus severans dvieska. But with a gag clause, she shredded in fury. Lawsuit incoming. Wrongful termination. She claimed. Whistleblower protection. Court date set for spring. Neighbors split further. Some pitying her fall from grace. Others toasting the purge. Me? I drove by her empty house one dusk. For sale sign sagging. Windows dark. Graffiti on the mailbox cluster. Free the mail. Kids work. Probably. Revenge's aftertaste. Not triumph. But a quiet ache. She lost everything. Job. Marriage. Throne. But in breaking her. Had I scarred us too? Mia asked once. Was she always mean? Dad. I paused. Maybe she was scared. Doesn't make it right. Outrage lingered in fragments. Hargrove sold his place, muttering about changing times. Lena faced pushback on lenient policies, echoes of Karen's playbook. And me? A new gig landed, consulting for anti-HOA reforms, turning pain into purpose. But nights, I'd wake to phantom sirens, wondering if the cuffs clicked too loud. Thanksgiving rolled around like an uninvited guest. Turkey-scented air thick with unspoken grudges. Willow Creek's first Karen-free holiday. No edicts on neutral decor. No fines for inflatable pilgrims. We went potluck. Lena's samosas. Garcia's carnitas. My Eraz Khan pollo bubbling in a crock pot. Mia orchestrated the kids' table. Paper turkeys fluttering. Laughter echoed. Real and ragged. But undercurrents swirled. News updates pinged phones. Karen's civil suit against Logie Corp dismissed. Summary judgment. No protected activity. She appealed. Of course. Burning through alimony like kindling. Hubby countersued for defamation. Airing her control freak emails in tabloids. Suburban soap opera, the Republic dubbed it. Controversy. Was this karma or cruelty? Social media split. Justice for Karen camps decrying pile-on culture. Countered by Felicia K. Threads with lock emojis. I dodged the spotlight, but found me. A podcaster from L.A. entitled Estates, Cold Demed. Jax. Your story's gold. Live interview. Turn it down. Mia's privacy first. But ripple spread. At Mia's parent-teacher night. Whispers followed. That's the guy who took down the HOA tyrant. Teachers nodded respect. One slipped me her card. Reform group needs voices like yours. Betrayals echo. Karen had isolated us. But her fall bonded the block. Yet bitterness crept in her absence. Her house sold to a young couple from Chicago. No kids. Electric SUV in the drive. They wave hello. I wave back. But inside, a pang. What's she been different? Nah, fantasy. Reality. Her service sentence started. Orange vest sorting parcels at the Tempe Depot. Spotters posted pics. Karen. Gloves on. Scowling at junk mail. Captions. Karma's got a stamp. Winter chilled the vindication. Probation hearings dragged. Violations galore. She missed a check-in for a deposition. Tested positive for Ativan prescribed. Her doc swore. Judge, a grizzled vet named Harlan, leaned in. MS. Whitaker, this court's time is valuable. Shape up. She nodded. Teary. I was protecting my community. Your Honor. He snorted. Your community? Or your ego? Ouch. A watch from the gallery. Anonymous in the back row. Her eyes scanned. Locking on mine. Pure venom. Then crumple. First crack. Vulnerability. Outrage flipped. Pity flickered. Had I pushed too far? No. The crowbar stayed home that day. Retaliation's final gasp. Anonymous letters. Mine arrived Valentine's. Pink envelope. Her signature scrawl. You ruined me. Jax. But God sees. Bible verse on judgment. Underlined twice. The Patels got similar. Cultural clashes inevitable. Adapt or leave. Cops traced it to her P.O. box. Violation 2. Bail revoked. Back to county for 30 days. Media, frenzy renewed. Karen's comeback crumbles. Her appeal tanked. Settlement. $50K from Logie Corp. NDA binding. Silence bought. But scars itched. Neighbors fortified. Security cams of our own. Communal. Lena's town halls. Lessons from the lockout. I spoke once. Halting. She betrayed trust. We reclaim it together. Spring thaw defenses. Mia esse birdi bash. Pinata swinging. Pina coladas flowing. No drama. But controversy brewed anew. Hargrove's successor. A realtor named Todd. Pushed premium upgrades. Gated entry. $2,000 assessments. Echoes of Karen. Board rebelled. Vote ousted him. My hand, steady in the yes column. Revenge evolved. Not destruction, but vigilance. Agent Ruiz checked in. Off-books coffee at a strip mall Starbucks. Case closed. But watch your back. Types like her don't fade. She was right. Whispers of a blog. Truth from Willow Creek. Ghost-ridden screeds on woke witch hunts. IP traced to a VPN? Probably. From a halfway house. Summer sweltered with closure. Karen's release. Low profile. U-Haul packed for Reno. Sister's place. No goodbye, just a sold sign. Sold sticker peeling. Block side collective relief. We painted the cluster fresh blue. Brass plate. Community mail. Open to all. Mia etched a bird on it. Gigs boomed. My mailbox hero sidebar in Phoenix. New Times drew clients. Bitter twist. Success tasted of her ruin. Late night googles. Her obit? No. Just LinkedIn dormant. Seeking opportunities in compliance consulting. Irony's gift. Outrage mellowed to myth. At Labor Day picnic. Stories swapped. Remember when she locked the Lees out of their wedding invites? Laughter. Not loathing. But me? The betrayed lingered. Therapy sessions. Court-mandated for witness stress. Unearthed it. Anger at mom's abandonment. Projected on Karen's control. You didn't just revenge her, Doc said. You freed yourself. True. Yet in quiet. I'd toast shadows to the fall that lifted us. Fall foliage faked it in the desert. Palm fronds rustling gold under relentless sun. But Willow Creek felt renewed. Like a hard drive wiped clean. No more Whitaker weekly blasts. Just Lena's cheery updates on pothole patches and playground upgrades. Mia aced her science fair redux. Entry, urban ecosystem model. Mailboxes as habitat hubs. Judges loved it. Karen would have hated. We framed the ribbon in the hall. Next to my folks' faded photo. Life normalized, but the scar tissue itched. Controversy's embers. A Netflix doc pitched. Karens of the cul-de-sac. Scouts sniffing for raw emotion. I passed. Some wounds don't stream. Karen's Reno reinvention. Rocky. Leaks from her sister. Gossip chain via cousin's hairdresser. Painted a portrait. Crashing on the couch. Job hunting via Indeed for administrative roles. Rejected left and right. Background checks flagged the Fed rep. She volunteered at a shelter. Irony supreme. Sorting donations, but clashed with staff over inefficient protocols. Retaliation redux. Petty complaints to the board there. Echoing old sins. Word got back via Phoenix expat. She's the same, just smaller stage. Bitter end crystallized, not prison bars, but invisibility. No C-suite corner office, just fluorescent hum and side gigs. Her blog? Crickets after 3 posts. Vitriol veiled as lessons learned. Neighborhood healed uneven. The Lees hosted Diwali Sands sabotage. Lanterns glowing. Sweets shared. Garcia's quinceanera spilled onto the street. Music thumping till midnight. No noise citations, just cheers. But fractures lingered. Hargrove's empty ranch. Weeds claiming the curb. Todd the realtor slunk off after the ouster. Bad-mouthing us on Zillow reviews. Activist overrun. We countered with facts, before/after pics of the pool. Justice's admin work, endless. My art crested quiet. Freelance firm, Rivera Designs. LLC, logo a broken lock. Tagline, unlocking creativity. Clients, HOAs seeking rebrands. Irony embraced. Mia noticed, Dad, you're smiling more. Kid wisdom. Dates resumed. Coffee with Sophia. A teacher from the next hood over. No rush. Trust rebuilt brick by brick. But revenge's ghost visited holidays. Christmas lights? Hours blast multicolored, no takedowns. New Year's toast to betrayals buried. One January Eve. Envelope arrived, no stamp. Hand delivered. Karen script. Jax, I'm sorry. Not for the locks, but the fear I spread. Reno's humbling. Don't become me. No verse. Just coordinates to a bonfire pit up north. Neutral ground? I burned it unread. Pity? Nah, closure. She faded to footnote. We thrived in the blank. Years blurred. Mia to middle school. Braces gleaming. Willow Creek's gates? Symbolic now. Propped open for parades. Lena turned out. I ran. One on sustainable suburbia. First act, federal compliance clause and bylaws, tongue-in-cheek nod. No Karens rose, diversity bloomed, new families from Syria, Ukraine, blending block parties with falafel and borscht. Bitter coda, her obit never came. But a Google alert pinged. Obituary? No. Wedding announcement. Reno rancher. 55. Quiet ceremony. Photos, softer smile. No pearls. Hubby number 3? Who knows? She rebuilt small. We never crossed paths. Revenge's end. Not destruction, but diffusion. She chained us. I picked the lock. In America's sprawl, where HOAs mimic mini-empires and feds guard the mundane, sometimes the betrayed wins by walking away whole. Yet in Mia's laughter, the hook echoes. That slam, those cuffs, the grin. Shocking? Sure. Necessary? Damn right. Because in the land of the free, even mailboxes demanded.